Uh, Hello, everybody. So today we are going to be answering several questions from the geography test. So let us start off with part B.
Okay, so for the first question is for Owen. What is the difference between the universe and the solar system?
Okay, so universe is everything that exists, including space and dark matter, while solar system is a system in which planets and other space objects revolve around a star. Next, number two is for Joshua. What is the difference between the geocentric and heliocentric views? And explain.
Okay, so the difference between geocentric and heliocentric models is that the geocentric model suggests that the Earth as the center of the cosmos or universe, whereas the heliocentric model suggests the sun as the center and planets revolve around the sun. So number three will be question for Troy. So what are the types of galaxies and give examples for each?
Okay, so there are four types of galaxies which has been identified. These are spiral, elliptical, spiral barred, and irregular. The spiral galaxy has a distinctive feature like a bulge disk and a halo. The center resembles a nidus, which contains a shape of a bulge sphere that comprises of odd stars and is free from dust and gas. An elliptical galaxy may be long or round and cigar shaped. There is no nucleus in this galaxy, but is still brighter in the center. The galaxies the galaxy tends to become less bright at its outer edges. This galaxy dotted with stars, gases, and other materials. A spiral barred galaxies have the same features and function that of a regular spiral galaxies. Having said that, they do have a bar of bright stars which lie at the center of the bulge, extending into the disk. An irregular galaxies comprises of dust, gases, nebulous formation, stars, neutron stars, black holes, and other elements which are common to other galaxies. They are termed as irregular galaxies as they have no particular shape. However, like other galaxies, they are in motion constantly, moving away and outward from the center of the universe. Okay, so the next question is for Owen. Please explain the cycle of the star.
Oh, the first one is a nebula. It is a star forms for massive clouds of dust and gas in space. Next one is a protostar. As the mass falls together, it gets hot, and star is formed when it is hot enough for the hydrogen nuclei to fuse together to make helium. And the fusion process releases energy, which keep the core of the star hot. And the third one is main sequence star. It is during this stable phase in the life of a star, the force of gravity holding the star together is balanced by higher pressure due to the high temperatures. Uh, One is red giant star. When all the hydrogen has been used up in the fusion process, larger of nuclei begin to form, and the star may expand to become a red giant. Next one is the white dwarf. When all the nuclear reactions are over, a small star like the Sun may begin to contract under the pull of gravity. In the instance, the star becomes a white dwarf which fades and changes color as it cools. Next one is supernova. It is a larger star with more mass and will go on making nuclear reactions. And it is getting hotter and expanding until it explodes as a supernova. And then the last one is neutron star or black hole. It's depending on the mass at the start of its life. A supernova will leave behind either a neutron star or a black hole. Next, number five is for Joshua. Explain the following theories of the solar system.
there are several theories. The first is nebula theory. So the nebular hypothesis is the most widely accepted model in the field of cosmogony to explain the formation and evolution of the solar system. It suggests that the solar system formed from nebulous material. The second one is planetesimal theory. So the planetesimal theory states that during the formation of our planetary system, a protoplanetary disk was formed from the materials of the solar nebula. The solar nebula is thought to have a disk-shaped cloud of gas and dust that remained after the formation of the sun. Next is the tidal theory. Uh, the tidal theory of the origin of the solar system, involving the approach near the sun of another star. This sets up tidal forces, and the instability of the sun resulted into parts of its mass being torn off to form the planets. This theory was proposed by Sir James H. Jeans in the year of 1877 until the year of 1946, and also Sir Harold Jeffreys. Last And the next theory is dust and cloud theory. So this states that the solar system developed out of an interstellar cloud of dust and gas called a nebula. This theory best accounts for the object we are currently find in the solar system and the distribution of these objects. And lastly, we have the twin star theory. So next, this will be for Troy, number 6. What is the difference between a shooting star, a meteor shower, and a meteorite? Explain.
When meteorites enter Earth's atmosphere at high speed and burn up, the fireballs or shooting stars are called meteors. When a meteorite survives a trip through the atmosphere and hits the ground, it's called a meteorite. A meteor shower happens when Earth passes through the path of a comet. When this happens, the bits of comet debris, most no larger than a grain of sand, create streaks of light in the night sky as they burn up in Earth's atmosphere. Bits of debris which enter Earth's atmosphere are called meteors. So the next question is for Owen. How does the formation of a comet's tail happen? Please explain.
Okay, so if the comet nucleus is pulled into an orbit which carries heat close to the sun, the solar heat will cause the outer layers of the icy nucleus to evaporate. During this process, dust and gases which form the coma around the nucleus are released. As the comet gets closer to the sun, the coma grows. The stream of dust and gas thus released from a huge, extremely tenuous atmosphere around the comet called the coma, and the force exerted on the coma by the sun, radiation pressure, and solar wind cause an enormous tail to form, which points away from the sun. Okay, so next, number 8, why does a comet's tail always point away from the sun?
Comet tails will always point away from the sun because of the radiation pressure of the sunlight. The force from sunlight on the small dust particles pushing them away from the sun is greater than the force of gravity acting in the direction towards the sun. So this next will be for Troy. Draw the components of the sun.
So for the components of the sun, it turns out that the sun contains the same elements as Earth, but not in the same proportions. About 73% of the sun's mass is hydrogen, and other 25% is helium. All the other chemical elements, including those we know and love in our own bodies, such as carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen, make up only 2% of our star. Okay, For the next question is for Owen. What are the unique characteristics of Uranus? Explain.
Okay, so Uranus is the only planet whose equator is nearly at a right angle to its orbit, with a tilt of 97.77 degrees, possibly the result of a collision with an Earth-sized object long ago. This unique tilt causes the most extreme seasons in the solar system. It is the coldest planet in the solar system, and it is the second least dense planet. Uranus has ring, and its atmosphere contains ices. It is said to have 27 moons. Okay, so next, number 11 is for Joshua. What are the unique characteristics of Neptune? Can you explain?
Uh, Neptune is dark, cold, and very windy. It's the last of the planets in our solar system. It's more than 30 times as far from the sun as the Earth is. Neptune is very similar to Uranus. So now we will proceed on to part C. So this number one will be for Troy. Why do the astronomers think that Mars can be considered as a place for living other than Earth?
Okay, so for question number one, Mars is rich in carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen, and oxygen, all in biologically readily accessible forms such as carbon dioxide gas, nitrogen gas, and water ice and permafrost. Except in permanent shaded polar craters where ultra cold temperatures prevail. Carbon, nitrogen, and hydrogen are only present on the moon in parts per million quantities. Oxygen is abundant on the moon, but only in tightly bound oxides such as silicon dioxide, ferrous oxide, magnesium oxide, and alumina oxide, which require very high energy processes to reduce. Current knowledge indicates that if Mars were smooth and all its ice and permafrost melted into liquid water, the entire planet would be covered with an ocean over 100 meters deep. On Mars, there is an atmosphere thick enough to protect crops grown on the surface from solar flares. Therefore, thin-walled inflatable plastic greenhouses protected by unpressurized UV-resistant hard plastic shield domes can be used to rapidly create cropland on the surface. Even without the problems of solar flares and a month-long diurnal cycle, such simple greenhouses would be impractical on the moon because they would create unbearably high temperatures. On Mars, in contrast, the strong greenhouse effect created by such domes would be precisely what is necessary to produce a temperate climate inside. Such domes up to 50 meters in diameter are light enough to be transported from Earth initially, and later on they can be manufactured on Mars out of indigenous materials because all the resources to make plastics exist on Mars. Networks of such 50 to 100 meter domes could rapidly be manufactured and deployed, opening up large areas of the surface to both short-lived human habitation and agriculture. That's just the beginning, as it will eventually be possible for humans to substantially thicken Mars' atmosphere by forcing the regolith to outgas its contents through a deliberate program of artificially induced global warming. Once that has been accomplished, the habitation domes could be virtually any size, as they would not have to sustain a pressure differential between their interior and exterior. In fact, once that has been done, it will be possible to raise specially bred crops outside the domes. This point to be made is that Unlike colonies on any other known extraterrestrial body, Martian colonies will be able to live on the surface, not in tunnels, and move about freely and grow crops in the light of day. Mars is a place where humans can live and multiply to large numbers, supporting themselves with products of every description made out of indigenous materials. Mars is thus a place where an actual civilization, not just a mining or scientific outpost, can be developed. Okay, so for the next question, for Owen, please explain the meaning of meteor, meteorite, and asteroid.
Okay, so meteor is a small body of matter from outer space that enters the Earth atmosphere, becoming incandescent as a result of friction and appearing as a streak of light. Meteoroid is a small body moving in the solar system that would become a meteor if it entered the Earth's atmosphere. Asteroid is a small rocky body orbiting the Sun. A large number of these, ranging in size from nearly 600 miles across to dust particles, and its are found, especially between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. Although some have more eccentric orbits, and a few passes close to Earth or enter the atmosphere as meteors. Next, number 3, explain the Earth rotation and its effect. For Joshua.
Uh, rotation refers to an object's spinning motion about its own axis. Revolution refers to the object's orbital motion around another object. For example, Earth rotates on its own axis, producing the 24-hour day. Earth revolves around the Sun, producing the 365 days a year. A satellite revolves around a planet. The Earth rotates on its axis relative to the Sun every 24.0 hours, mean solar time, with an inclination of 23.45 degrees from the plane of its orbit around the Sun. Mean solar time represents an average of the variation caused by Earth's non-circular orbit. Its rotation relative to fixed stars is 3 minutes 56.55 seconds shorter than um, the mean solar day, the equivalent of one solar day per year. So last for part C is number 4. Explain the Earth revolution and its impact. First for Troy.
Okay, so Earth revolves in orbit around the Sun in 265 days, 6 hours, 9 minutes with reference to the stars, at a speed ranging from 29.29 to 30.29 kilometers per second. The 6 hours and 9 minutes adds up to about an extra day every fourth year, which is designated a leap year, with the extra day added as February 29. Earth's orbit is elliptical and reaches its closest approach to the Sun, a perihelion of 147,090,000 kilometers, on about January 4th of each year. Aphelion comes 6 months later at 152,100,000 kilometers. Okay, so let's move on to part A. And question number 1, it will be for Owen. The theory that states the universe was created by a hot explosion are called
The Big Bang Theory. Next, number 2, the theory that states the universe has no beginning and end are called
The steady state theory. So for number 3, the set of particles and dust which has a hot temperature and emits its own light is called Troy.
a star.
Okay.
The Milky Way is one type of galaxy, which is
spiral galaxy. Number 5, the name of the galaxy that has the nearest distance to the moon is
The Andromeda Galaxy. The main particle that comprises the sun is. Sorry.
It's the hydrogen. Okay, so the sun's atmosphere that emits the light is
its photosphere. Number 8, the celestial body located between Mars and Jupiter is called
The asteroid belt. For number 9, asteroid revolves around the sun with what type of orbit?
for number 9. It's elliptical orbit.
Okay.
Okay, so for number 10, one of the main classifications of meteoroids is
its iron meteorites. Number 11 for Joshua, the period of Halley comets is
Every 75 until 76 years. The name of the planet which is part of the terrestrial planet is called.
planet Mercury. The name of the planet which is part of the superior planet is
it's Jupiter. And 14 for Joshua, the name of the planet which doesn't have an atmosphere is
It's also Mercury. The name of the planet which is called the morning star is.
the Venus. The other name of Mars is
red planet. 17, the name of the planet which has a red giant spot is
Jupiter. The particles forming the rings of Saturn are.
rock materials, dust, and water ice. The name of the planet which has an opposite direction of rotation is
it's Uranus. Plus 1 is for Joshua. For 20, one of the planets that doesn't have satellites is
um, Mercury. So that's all for our question and answer. Thank you and God bless you.